Welcome back to the channel. This game features Nigel Short's game against Andrey Lukin, a Russian IM, played in the Plovdiv tournament round 7 in June 1984. The game started as a Sicilian defence and goes into the Richter-Rauzer variation. White castles queenside and black develops. And here Nigel starts a pawn storm on the king side, which is normal. And black expands on the queen side. And here's the first moment of the game. Nigel decides to take the pawn on b5. He's going to get 3 pawns for the piece. I think knight takes c6. In this variation, he would have quite a nice advantage. But he played the more risky bishop takes b5. And here black chooses to take the knight. I think king to f8 would have been a better option. And after something like this, I think the position would be quite equal. But white seems to get a good position after taking the bishop and the trading of the queens. The rook's nicely placed on d6, and white has quite a lot of space. And here black opts to move the knight into the centre, aiming for c4, which white obviously stops. Black grabs the open c file. Clever move from Nigel to defend the c3 knight and also attack the black knight, which has to retreat. And the bishop could have gone to any square really along this diagonal. Nigel chose b6, perhaps with an eye keeping the rook away from the d8 square. So then once the bishop's vacated the d4 square, the knight decides to go back into e5, also attacking the knight, which is defended by the king. And here Nigel decides to double rooks. And he's got a nice, as I say, he's got a nice space advantage, and the game's far from won. But black's next move, castles, kingside, I would say is slightly weak in the fact that white can build his advantage more. I think knight fd7, attacking the bishop, would have been slightly better for black in the fact that he's managed to get the bishop onto a bad square and now can castle if he wants to. And he has pressure down the b file as well. And even though he's slightly worse, I think black would have been okay in this position. But he decides to castle, and this allows white to literally start pushing the pawns on the queen side, as he has 2 connected pass pawns. And black decides to try and counter-attack on the king side, but it looks very weakening, and the f6 light now looks a bit loose. with both the knights on the same diagonal. The bishop's going to harass them at some point, which we see in the game. This is the only move to save one of the knights. This is a nice move from Nigel, attacking the g5 square, and black can't really defend it very well. You can try g4, but then f4 is a killer because the knight will have to move, and then the rook can take on d7. And if he tries f6, then knight to b5 is a nice move, forcing the trade. And the pawn's very dangerous now, moving forward, and white would have a very good position. So black tries f5, ignoring the threat on the g5 pawn, but f5 also allows white to take the e6 pawn, which Nigel does. And after the trade on e4, black now decides to play g4, which is actually the fatal mistake because of white's next move, which is knight to d6. And this forces the loss of material. And a bit prematurely, maybe, Lukin decided to resign in this position. I mean, the possible continuations are rook to c7, and my initial reaction was bishop d4 was good, but I think f4 is even stronger. Knight to f7, rook check, king to h7, f5 would then, and now he's got a threat of the checkmates, and I think black's in real trouble. I mean, I think after bishop d4, I think even the bishop d4 line, I think white's in a good position. After he forces the taking the knight due to the pin on the rook on c7. So a nice game from Nigel. He's making a bit of a recovery in the tournament after winning his back-to-back wins, and a very nice win for him here. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and until next time, bye for now. Cheers.